this would be a juicy one.
Now then, I'm aware that most of you will have absolutely no idea who I am, so it's a little intro into me.
My name's Ollie Mercer. I've got a Masters in Strength and Conditioning. I've worked with professional athletes for a number of years. The goal of this channel is to bring you completely free, interesting resources on how the professional athlete at the elite level works. So if that sounds good, let's hop into the video. So Francis Ngannou comes from a village called Batié in Cameroon, and there's a lovely video of a man called Powerkube who takes you through that if you're interested in finding out a little bit more about Batié. Really, it's a beautiful town, it's a small town, but it's not the most wealthy town. So as a 10-year-old, Francis had to work in a sand mine to make ends meet.
Alright, so here's some footage of Francis actually working in the sand mine. So when you're a young kid over there, if this is what you need to do, the idea is that you're clearing the sand so they're able to find precious materials underneath it, alright? So you need to be able to be efficient, you need to be able to do this for long periods of time, which will build up a lot of muscular endurance and a lot of endurance in his nervous system and in his lungs as well, okay? So what you're seeing here is he's digging from the center line of his body over his left shoulder, which applies a lot to a hook. If you see the angle of his right elbow here as it comes back and the consistent rotation. So he's loading up the knee slightly, and then he's using a lot of his middle back muscles to actually stand up and send it over that left shoulder, which would have meant from a young age he's got incredibly powerful shoulders, an incredibly powerful mid-back, and incredibly powerful quads, which you'll see later on in the knockouts he actually does. And this is where it was built.
At 26 years old, he ended up going to Paris in France to pursue professional boxing. Unfortunately, he entered Spain illegally, crossing the border, so because of that he was put straight into jail for 2 months when he landed in Europe. So Francis lived homeless on the street after he came out. He had no friends, no money, no place to go. He ended up going down to a boxing gym. Here he met a man named Didier Carmont, who allowed him to train and stay at the gym for free, and that's how he was introduced to MMA, and the whole story of Francis Ngannou coming up in the MMA scene began. Francis's final MMA record was 17-3, which for that sport is absolutely incredible. He ended up being the UFC World Heavyweight Champion, of course, as many people know, but he always loved boxing, so he wanted to slide into this side of things. The biggest win of his MMA career came against Alistair Overeem when he knocked him out in the first round. This was in December 2017, UFC 218. This is obviously what the knockout looked like.
Of course, I've got to break this one down. So the 3-punch combo, which wins him the fight, is there, there, and there. So we've got a really short right hook, really short left hook, but his body is so used to producing that rotational force, like I say, and it's just very easy for him to dial these and swing these up, loading up from the hip as it's natural for him to do so, and that creates a huge knockout.
That made him become a huge star over in the MMA world. Following a couple of high-profile losses in the UFC, he went from 11-1 to 11-3 after losing to Stipe Miocic. No shame in that. After losing to Derek Lewis, absolutely no shame in that. That man is an absolute beast. He beat Curtis Blades, Cain Velasquez, Junior Dos Santos, eventually avenging that loss to Stipe Miocic 3 years after he initially lost to him, and then beating Cyril Gane to defend his UFC heavyweight title. Following that, his work in UFC was done, at least for now. I'm going to say, I'm a big Tyson Fury fan. I'm from near where he's born. He battered Tyson Fury in that fight. So Francis Ngannou is actually credited as the man with the most powerful punch in the world. I measured this on a piece of equipment called the Powerkube, which takes into account a person's force, speed and accuracy when they are striking. Francis Ngannou is super strong, and let's take a little breakdown of the force behind his shot to look at why. So this first clip here is against Andrea Orlovsky, and Orlovsky leans in here. You can see it's a tiny little step over, and he comes in towards Ngannou's right hip, which is really not a good combo if Ngannou's going to plant that left foot, come right through for a right uppercut there, and that's serious trouble. So that rotational force and that upward thrust here that he's bringing up from the floor, that's what really cracks and connects him there. That is real extension there and rotation combined to land that fist in the perfect angle with perfect timing, and that is what creates the force. So this here is going back 10 years when he was 27 years old, a fresh-faced, young-looking Francis Ngannou. So here, he's clearly beaten this man up a little bit, and then he doesn't need to catch him with that much, but his momentum of stepping in brings a little bit of extra speed into it, so it doesn't have to be the biggest blow to an injured opponent. He's just going to come straight through, and that right hand is so accurate. That's something that AJ will need to look for, because he's really always been able to get that kind of precision. He lands that right hand as well as he steps into that front leg, which creates a blocking force and really gives him all that momentum, which you can see there. It's a lovely right hand. So here we have some fantastic examples, okay? So them straight punches were just absolutely nasty. Then we see this little combo here, the left hooks. So he keeps this over a short distance, right? It's just whip from the shoulder, turn from the body, combining them two together, and he's dropping knuckles right there into the side of the face. He's not got his hand rotated like this. He's keeping it at this sort of angle, which is a more European way of throwing a hook, and he's really tossing that elbow behind it, and then he whips back to bring that uppercut up and through the guard, which really finishes the man off. So the reason why this is so effective when Francis throws it is because he's rotated his weight into that front left hip, which you can see right here, and he's loaded the knee slightly, so that as he pops up, he can create so much force from that knee popping up and straightening out. He's really able to hit the target and land it hard. This one, Mihailovic here, he's trying to get out of the way here, but unfortunately that leads to this devastating left hook, which you can see right here. He chases him around and he gets him to the perfect point where he can just lean, reach, and whoop, and knock it round. Catch him, perfect accuracy once again. Ngannou is very, very skilled with his timing. The man's got his hands down, he's trying to move away, and he's looking right there at Ngannou, so he doesn't see this one coming right here. And again, Ngannou's force, the speed he's able to whip it round with, the tendons from the shoulder working very quickly to get that rotation, you're going to be in trouble. So that's just a quick look at Francis Ngannou, Anthony Joshua's opponent for tomorrow night. If you enjoyed this, click subscribe, it's just down there, it's free and it will help me out so much. Drop a little like on the video and pass it on to a friend, and I'll see you guys next time.